Matchup of the day, Virtus.pro, who ended last stage as the winners of said stage against Into the Breach, who were at the very bottom of that scoreboard. Should be a very dominant game, you'd say, but Into the Breach, they showed us last time around. They are an actual team that can win more than 4 rounds.
Yep, they're the only team, I think, in EUL history to ever win a game. The same game twice, obviously, you know. They won last week up against Wild, then the round was replayed. They won it again and managed to get an overtime victory. So, you know, things are going to be feeling good for them.
It is going to feel good for them. And what I look to see from Into the Breach right now is just the consistency of this. Because you can win your first game in EUL against Wild, which is a great team, but they took you to their permaban. And why did they do that? They took them to the permaban because they know that ITB was not as much of a challenge as other teams would be. And they wanted to show off that we are the big dogs.
Yeah.
ITB just beat them down, said, no, we're not having that. We're not going to be humiliated that much. So even if they lose today against Virtus.pro, I don't really care if they do it, but it's how they do it. Can we see a continuation of that show that they provided us last playday, or not?
I mean, you can pull a strat a lot against them, but at some point it's going to be enough. Like, you take enough, drag from other teams, really. But then, if they did beat that team on their permaban, what is, like, an appropriate expectation for them? Or are we still unsure where to put Into the Breach?
I'd stay still unsure. It's very hard, but it's not that unsure that I would say fully. It's still, I'd put them towards the lower parts of the group. And I think that today is their showing is, will they change my mind? And I think, will they change a lot of other people's mind?
But then they have a really difficult matchup today, right? Against Virtus.pro. They're playing this whole different meta, kinda, but they are consistent.
Yeah, that's the one thing, you know, I talk at length, and I'm going to keep talking about it, the Virtus.pro paradox, in that I really do think that the style of Siege Virtus.pro plays is maybe a little bit too safe, maybe isn't in the current meta, and maybe does get found out internationally. However, the one thing that Virtus.pro do provide is consistency, and there are so many teams in EUL that are looking for any form of consistency. That's a big issue for a lot of teams. Virtus.pro have that consistency. It's just consistency in a different meta and a different style, which does make them, I guess, consistently good.
They're consistently good in Europe.
Yeah.
But internationally, they seem to struggle a bit. And I mean, we heard in their last interview that they are trying to change up things super, well, I wouldn't say super slowly, but that's my definition of it. They said they're changing up things slowly. But in my mind, they need to be a bit faster with this to catch up on these better teams, because you can sit here and win EUL and come first. But that game against G2 at that point, both of the teams were already qualified. Did they really care too much? Knowing G2, sure, we wanted to win, but we didn't really care that much. So they need to perform internationally. Eventually that will come.
But then do you feel like Virtus.pro is really changing? Because when we asked Joystick, he didn't really want to give away too much of that.
The thing is we've been seeing slight adaptations. You know, we've been seeing slight luck plays from Virtus.pro. We've been seeing some operator changes. We see a little bit of Brava here. We see a little bit of Dokkaebi there. We see them trying, but if you look at generally the main operators played, you're going to see basically no new operators. We talk about, you know, on defense, what are the power operators? There's Army, Solis, Fenrir. Look at the mains. Echo, Jaeger, Castle, Smoke, Aruni. Like, they don't really change too much, but they're starting to. I think Patchel playing Dokkaebi is about the extent of it so far.
You actually stole my point exactly. I was going to say we saw a little bit of Patchel running around on the first floor of Bank quite alone, and that's not something we've usually seen from a Virtus.pro team, or even a Russian team at all for that matter. So they are doing some different stuff.
Now, to set the storyline for this game, last time around these two teams were in the same group. Virtus.pro won, obviously, as ITB didn't really manage to win any games, but it was an overtime game. So with Into the Breach looking a little bit better than they did last time around, there is a potential that they can take them down today, but I do wonder what map we'll have for that showdown today. So look at our map and phase. The final remaining map is we'll go to Clubhouse once again, and Virtus.pro start on defense. Fabian, you have your head in your hands. Are you all right?
I don't know why you would pick Clubhouse against Virtus.pro or even allow it to go that far, but I might say my own word.
I've got theories that I don't think ITB have a deep enough map pool to basically ban away Clubhouse. It's very, very obvious that you should, you know, never take this team to Clubhouse. It's such a good map for them. Now, ITB, when they were TT9, they did get to overtime. They had some exciting strategies. I remember them seeing trying to Amara patches and try and play a little bit of a different Clubhouse to try and throw VP off. But it was one of my worries about ITB coming into this whole stage was, especially the map changes, they didn't have a map pool in the first place to sustain challenges against some teams. So, can they do that? They've ended up on Clubhouse. it certainly seems from the bans that you would favour VP, because VP is certainly never going to try and play a permaban in an E-World game. They'll just permaban the permabans and play their good maps.
I think you two could talk about this game for ages, but very shortly, predictions for this game for you two?
I don't think Virtus.pro will underestimate ITB at all after the last performance. Virtus.pro is going to win 7-2.
I'm going to go 7-5 for Virtus.pro. I think Virtus.pro will win, but I'm excited to see ITB after they got a win. And I do think ITB's passiveness can play a part in this map.
All right, can Virtus.pro continue that momentum, or are ITB able to secure the victory today? We will see on our fourth map of the day, Clubhouse and Fluke and Hap.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. We're back here onto Clubhouse. We're back here onto Clubhouse with these two teams. Who will take it? Well, you have a pretty good idea at home. What do you think, Hap?
I have to agree. I mean, the VP roster, we've known them to be a very, very more than capable Clubhouse team. However, the last time ITB almost managed to get a win, that wasn't like last week when they actually did win, but you know, stage 1, they played 8-7 against Virtus.pro. So maybe they have something up their sleeves they're going to be able to pull out here in what seems to be Virtus.pro territory.
I mean, this is also the sort of thing that was highlighted there by Fabian, is how much of a game was being put forward last time by Virtus.pro, how much of a game is going to be delivered by them this time round. ITB have grown as a team since we last saw them on these engagements and this last split. They were able to pull a win the previous playday. Maybe they'll make it a surprise second, because to be fair, who they took it off was the team that was once upon a time unbeaten throughout all of this. This could be a great opportunity for them to really ruffle the feathers and shake up what has been quite a chaotic day across these groups of winners and losers.
Yeah, definitely has been chaotic. Some upsets here and there as well. Zazami is getting banned. Same bans we see from Virtus.pro compared to the last time these two teams met here on Clubhouse. ITB's bans have changed though. Now again, last time they met was stage 1. Different roster, we have to say, so not completely the same. But it was also Clubhouse. It was a 3-3 split twice, and then 3 rounds won in overtime on the defense, which went to Virtus.pro in the end. So let's see how close that will be right now, or if the improved ITB is going to be able to actually take the game away from them.
Starts up as we find ourselves with Virtus.pro leading on the defense. And, you know, if you're unaware of how these guys play this map, well is an understatement. They are an exceptional Clubhouse team. At points have been considered the best Clubhouse team in the world of Siege. Some combination of these players. They have a big grandstand with a very long history. They can read off of it of teams that they have beat on this map, including their current opponents. Hey, Siege's game of surprises. Siege's game of growth, and it's been a long time, a long off season. Whether they have a thin or a thick map pool doesn't really change the fact where if they can make it very strong on their limited count, in a best of 1, it's still a best of 1.
It is, and something we also have to keep track of is, of course, the new operators that joined the lineup ever since. Fenrir, I think, is the most impactful one we've had so far, and we've seen great use of the AFNATs today, where basically you prevent them from doubling up on you. We saw it here on Clubhouse, where a player was in the bathroom and one on the main entrance, but due to the FNAT on the main entrance, the player on the bar could not be taken down by a double swing. So let's see how that plays in and which team can deal better with the wolf-like operator.
Oh, woo.
Woo. They did just win, so that's
we were late for the woos.
That's very true. I had to not come down early to grab a drink because my girlfriend was watching and she's a Wolves fan and I didn't want to spoil the game.
Biggest Wolves fan there is. But that's the previous game, and this one is, well, a game where they've already been pushed back. Now, you can do this hold on the ground floor, all 5 players, keeping some awareness and letting the opponents do this. Spend 30 to 40 seconds clearing out the top floor, slowly and steadily making sure that you're not going to get fell upon. There's the mute jammer. The free cam is not letting anything slide.
Everything gets seen now. There's no more hiding. especially like Valkyrie cameras. That's what I like most about the well, they will see them now because she's banned, but the free cam opportunity. Kanto very close to spotting a head out there. That's a head spotted now. It's going to go for double dips. Definitely tries to, but Pasha rotated off. He's not wanting to go for double dips.
I think that's it. Pasha realized he didn't get the opportunity either, but he knows that in that situation, you don't want to try and play that angle as the response and that awkward positioning here. Kendrew burns their route through. Looks for the option on the back end. It's taken them a fair bit to clear, and you look at what still needs to be done here. And that includes, obviously, maybe some hatch control. Obviously, you know, Dan's here. That's very trippy, but they can only see what you would regularly be able to see, regardless of the Aether that we can see here. It's very cool, though. As Kendrew, we can get the true taste of the Oryx. Pasha finds one. Joystick gets the cover. Kendrew swings into the Oryx, who gets them as well. Azza stuck in the blind and a flawless.
It's not a great way to start off your game against Virtus.pro. A great way to start off your game as Virtus.pro, though, as they managed to basically pick that one up without any trouble. It's a bit of a desynchronized push, it almost looked like. Because everybody's just taking gunfights, and it seemed like the site wasn't under that much pressure. The initial clear over the top floors, though, that went really well. They managed to clear that very quickly. It's just afterwards, ITB not really able to put that same pace or accuracy or whatever you want to call it into taking down those ground floor, basement floors. But it's still early on, and nothing to be worried about, as VP is going to be to gym and bedroom, top floor, leaving CCTV or bar as their territory. See the mirror again coming out as well. We saw it on Koi's side as well, how just a few pixels was enough to basically decide the rounds behind the mirror window. But Pasha, I believe, is going to be setting that up near Cash as well to help preserve CC control just a little bit more.
Now, it was a good bait on time. They dropped quite quickly down towards the basement, and as I said, you know, it should have been about a 40-second clear with the way the mute jammers were played and with the sort of caution that was being paid by ITB towards the approach. They lost out on a lot of time there and really had a lot to pay in the end. Here, obviously, there's not as much. There were too many times. It's the heat. There's not as much space that needs to be as fervently locked down. You don't have to get the full clear underneath. You can get some idea. And the Solace is going to make things trickier, though. Dan is going to be as active and problematic as possible. Watch the drones coming towards him and find the right time to either slip up or down. There is a very good idea of what is watching them.
Moving up through the garage. Trying to time this right with Yonko, who's looking to open up the wall, but has to go above the mute jammer, most likely with the exothermic. It's going to be creating a bit of an awkward angle, but still going to be vaultable, and going to be pressure onto the side of VP. Joystick putting up his discs just to make sure there's no double nades coming in towards him, as Cash is going to be opened up sooner rather than later. The Monty going in is definitely going to be trouble, as I believe Noah just jumped down in time to get the kill to Joystick right before he fell into safety.
Two bodies down, but the trade out is Kanto, the player who's often been huge for some of ITB's play previously, getting the ace in the very first game and doing a lot of the damage in the second. So, down to the rest of them. Try and move on behind Kendrew, get some swings onto that multi-shield as well. You've still got some big guns up against you. You've still got what is remembering a soft floor. If Dan goes for the rotate with the impact, potentially plays the Solace underneath the late time, and the soft under the plant can define this round. It's happened on this site before, and he's still a loose cannon that they're still trying to find.
Seeing one drone out there as well, realize the player just went off, but the thing is, if the Monty manages to push through and they manage to clear out that top floor, they might actually be fully aware of the fact that there's a Solace on the board. I'm not sure if they've spotted Dan already, because if they have, they can just plant on the bed as soon as they manage to take the final two players that are actually on the site. Perhaps C4 into Logi out there. Definitely try and bait the Monty to go for that push. He's already passed. Gonna find Noah though with the C4, so still someone at least.
Here's the pressure, and here's the response. Shepard round the side of the mirror window now. He can see through that, whether we can or can't. And, well, Dan, he bites up round. Doesn't even need to get the final one. Virtus.pro, they had that lockdown. They had that solid back line, and for all the explosive entrance over towards the top of red, ITB just could not get that roll to continue going across the top floor.
It started off great indeed when I managed to take CC and Cash under control.
Yeah, totally.
It's just, you know, VP, they're very experienced players. They're a very experienced roster, and while they probably knew exactly where the push was going to be coming from, that C4 was a great example of it. Just finding one, and after that, you just retake the ground quickly and basically catch ITB off guard. No one was there to protect the flanks, protect the back. Eventually got them. And thus, VP now leading 2-0. And going on to CCTV. Now, I'm just wondering, Emmy, you have seen the Brainbow 6 questions, right? I've found a name for the Fenrir ability, which is the FNAF, of course, which I like way more than the way we call it. It's a tiny weeny death machine.
Tiny weeny death machine-y, surely.
Yeah, sorry, machine-y, yes, sorry. Tiny weeny death machine-y.
The tiny weeny death machine-y. If any of us start using that call, do you know who would be the most angry at us?
It would be
Parker. I think
That's worth it. Surely
even if
is.
he's not listening to this stream right now, he just shuddered and said that
he just felt it. Felt it in his
casters are
very
up
presence.
to no good by calling it the tiny weeny death machine. If anyone wants to use that, feel free. I won't.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
It's a bit of a mouthful. Andrew gets the read through, onto the site, and the Monty is ready to try and roll in. They want to try and strong arm it. However many times we said it's a multi-step process. It's a multi-step process describing the multi-step process. The first has been done. The bulletproof on the back end will just give an idea of when the pressure's coming through. They have the option to maybe try and take that out if Kanto wants to fire across, but always a Noah fire across each other's faces, moving them. The Capitao is going to see if they can break their way out, and Kanto's cut through. Gets the kill onto Shepard as Kendrew's bullying the smoke at the top of red. He's sort of driven himself inside. I'm not really sure why he's in that position or how he suddenly got there, because there is nobody to support him.
You're saying he was bullying the smoke. It was the other way around. Push was bullying him as he got up that close. Now, smokes are being deployed by the Capitao. Azar is looking to potentially find a way inside, but the diffuser not currently in hand. It's been dropped on the balcony. They need to pick it up first. So he's done that now. Kanto looking to get away in from construction, but they're not giving him any space. As Pasha takes down Azar, it's only up to him now. Taken out early in the last round. Needs to clutch it now to impact. Stow will find his way. We'll shut it down for a third round and a complete rotation for Virtus.pro. Oh, right in the chest.
Ow.
That's a concussion for sure.
Now, obviously, we only arrive at the chaos. It's like that community gif where Troy walks in and everything's on fire. You know, he's got the pizzas.
Yeah.
This series of events to have Kendrew 1 versus 1ing the smoke in close quarters there. Obviously, there was a trade that happened just before. So whether there was motion behind him, but he was truly alone in that top red position. I'm trying to think back to if there was anything else that was going on there, but
I can't think of a single operator that's worse to 1v1 as a Monty.
no, no, there isn't.
Well, Oryx could bash you over.
Yeah, Oryx can do that, but the smoke can just sort of throw it down and then run around a bit. The Oryx would be...
Yeah, you don't want to 1v1 the Oryx either.
However, we've seen Oryxes run past Monties before.
Yeah, but that's what you do if you use the Remadash too early. So you gotta hug him first and then you Remadash. There's no way he dodges that.
But it's even tougher to mess up a smoke, I think.
Not for sure.
Because you can just throw it at them or at the floor at your own feet and be
like,
no,
you throw
keep
it far,
away,
you
keep
throw
away.
it close, and then he's stuck in between. So
Yeah. Okay. 3 rounds, a perfect rotation here from Virtus.pro on their defense. Let's see if they can make it any more. Kanto gets the quick entrance over the top of red. Just keeps on going via CC. Now, they didn't get a body on their clear here. They weren't able to get their clear done quite quick. They have an idea of Joystick's presence. The fire of the suppression comes around the corner. Joystick gets the drone. He's checking Logi hatch is closed before he goes for the rotate round, and Kanto's on the other side. Noah actually suffers in the fight against Joystick in the end. He wants to slip his way down, but he's being caught from all sides. He somehow, oh no!
It was a 4.
There was 4 players hunting them, and good. It's the right decision because A, they get the kill, but B, the positions of those players mean that they now know a lot is clear a lot quicker than they did last time.
No, for sure. Well played by ITB there, but it is comedic how it took 4 people, and the last one is there to pick him up just in time. But you remove Joystick, that's great. That's the mute of the board, and now you have top floor control. Still need to work on that first floor, though. Drones are still going about. In the meantime, though, soft floor destruction has already started by Azure. The minute 20 on the clock, and you need to open up those hatches as well in the meantime. That's going to be that big ask. I mean, if you look over to the right-hand side of the screen, there's plenty of utility to do so. You have the Hibana, you have the Ace, you have the Heartbreach gadgets on side of Noah, so they shouldn't really struggle if it wasn't for these Kate charges. So EMPs will have to go off first, which just slows down the entire process just a little bit more.
See, stock hatch get popped open on the side, even without the audio. Trust me, it's been done, and here comes next bit of Silent Siege, doubling down with the EMPs to make sure that gets popped. The X-Kairos came a little bit late, but should
that took a long time.
Still be good. I'm assuming that was also kitchen that we had explode as well.
The openings have been made. Now they need to try and force their advantage a little bit. Always takes a lot of damage. Opening onto the triple wall is looking to be made. Indeed, time is not really working out for them. Always is going to go for the impact trick. I'm not sure if he succeeded at it. I believe it's still opening up, so he's has to dig in deep. But the player in the main stairs will be able to pick him up. And now it's a 3-on-3. 10 seconds left. FNATs will be blinding ITB. The 2 players left. The Fuser needs to be picked up. Azure needs to go for a plant as the time is about to be running out. Dan, he needs to find a kill that stops this round from happening. Fighting at the last very millisecond.
No, no, no. Oh, no.
The emotions on Dan's face tell it all. Just another day at the office.
I would be screaming, crying.
I'd be jumping right now. It's like, let's go, let's go.
Play. I mean, that is just... They had to mad dash. They, you sort of look at the time. It's a 4 versus 3 or whatever it was, or 5 versus 4. There's 30 seconds left in the round. And here,
had to go.
Look
just
how close, how close. 0.9. Just when the timer went to 0. I mean...
Man, I said it. He just needs to find a one person. And he found him. And that's just very painful for the side of ITB because that would have been their round. They did everything they needed to. They opened up the wall. They managed to get them... First of all, they cleared the roamer up top very effectively. Beautifully as well. 4 people set up just to make sure success was there. Then they opened everything they needed to open up. Maybe they took a little bit too long there. We mentioned it. Time was really of the essence as they started opening up the triple wall. That moment, there was 20 seconds left on the clock. Can they start planting? And when that one player is unaccounted for, what options do you have? Either you plant behind the black box, or you plant behind the bar, or behind the bomb chassis. I think that's the 3 safest spots in that order as well for an unknown player out there. And they chose the wrong one. Maybe that was due to time. I don't know. Kanto and Dan in another fight, and it goes Dan's way. Clutches the round and instantly takes down Kanto, becoming a problem inside Strip.
I'm still sort of thinking about the last round, I'll be honest. There it is, tricked out. They lose that exothermic. The wall will stay solid, and Shepard is happy to sit around, recollect a slightly faulty wire. He's got that fixed, and he'll move away. And he pulled that off even with that window open. I'm not sure if they did that just after, or they didn't have somebody watching it, but again, it's a bit of a blow. And again, if If you're unaware, you can still see through those mirror windows, even if they are blacked out on our side. The players can, fine. They have the angle there, and potentially Selma's going to hit onto that back wall if they start trying to put pressure towards it.
It's the best way to open it up. Use an ace, use a thermite. There's no way Bennett can trick both. He can choose one, but then instantly he's going to be in a bit of a bad situation. Of course, he couldn't do that on the previous wall, as there was just a single one he needed to trick at that point. I believe, as all EMPs have been used right now, and Joystick will find Kendrew, this bathroom wall will stay electrified. And that's... Oh, no, why did you go for the peak there? Great pre-fire from Noah. And that removes the bathroom players. Suddenly opens up some opportunities for ITB here.
Yeah, I mean, they went for the peak. The bathroom player's been replaced. They still have the man advantage. They also still have a solace underneath. Dan is ready, waiting, and willing for whatever comes their way with 2 impacts against the soft floor. Now, as it does get the end of Joystick, the flashes come through, so Pasha just sort of tucks and ducks, but doesn't survive as they take over. 40 seconds, and neither of the 2 remaining players on side the site does get the drop on the one watching on the window.
Oh,
Dan
no, the
looks
timing.
so way at the worst time, but they don't know that he's there potentially, so he still has something to work with. They're going for the plant on the one bit of concrete on the far end. There's the reveal. The impacts are going to come out, and, well, they're going to have to go for the swing. The reveal of the player inside the bathroom. Dan's coming up the back stairs. They're going to have to try and isolate one of these fights, and Logistics might be the first, but no, the hop out has come round, and Dan, there's a lot of damage to Noah. Calls that the player has moved off. So now Always is going to try and swing onto Logistics. It's almost a chain here, and whoever wins this first engagement, which is Always, gets the lead in, but Noah wins his right back. A 1 versus 1. There's Noah for the next. And they may have been robbed of the round before, but this time they steal one back.
Well played there by ITB in the end, even though there were numbers behind, able to get themselves back on the board. Taking that bathroom was crucial there. Getting the plant in the one safe space, also crucial, because it basically eliminates the Solace out of the picture, needing to go for that retake afterwards. As a result, they got their first round on the board on the attack. Now, if they manage to find a second, there's still going to be a good opportunity for a pretty good half. I mean, it's not going to be the 3-3 they had in the previous stage. It definitely gives for opportunity to see it go all the way to overtime again. A quick rehouse for those of you that haven't seen. Player needs to rejoin, so we'll take some time. Hearing some noise in the background, but I'm not quite sure if it's joining or leaving.
We will never know. Oh, I mean, I guess
think
we'll
this-
find out soon enough.
Yeah.
Actually, but... No, I mean, 1 round. And to be honest, after the round before, it's good that they got 1, because they did deserve that round. 1 position, 1 huge clutch, which is, you can't take away from, is fantastic for the team that pulled it off. It is still a clutch. There is still sort of that karmic balance of, well, they should have probably had it, so they have that lifeline still. However, there's no denying that for the first half of this, it has very much been the Virtus.pro show. They've had a good cruise control on the action.
Yeah, they've definitely been showing supreme throughout this game. Not pressure too much, unless for the last 2 rounds, really. And now they've 1 more left before they swap sides. So, of course, they're going to be looking to find that success there. Just waiting until everybody's back in, and then we can get going again. And then we'll see. Also, Wolves currently, together with Virtus.pro, the only team that's unbeaten across both the groups. So if Virtus.pro take a victory here, they continue that as well. Both 2-0. And I believe that was both teams that didn't play on the first day. So first day by buff? Is that what we're going for?
I guess so. They had time. They had extra time to rest.
To watch everybody else?
To watch everybody. I assume they were just sleeping. Esports players hibernate. And then they emerge when it's time to esports.
Then they go back to sleep until the next day of esports.
And then they rest until esports. So That's my understanding. I could be wrong.
You could definitely be right. I mean, I haven't never seen a pro player in the wild except for on lands.
I have only ever seen pro players playing pro. Never
amateur.
I've never gone somewhere and bumped into, you know, a player at like the zoo.
Never meet him at the
or
Sunday
anything.
League, do you? It's like
You never see him. Could they do it on a rainy Thursday night in Stoke? That's a very British joke. Somewhere Tim is nodding, but
probably at home.
4-1, probably. Maybe hibernating. 4-1. 10 seconds. It shows how delirious. This is what a heat wave does to people. 4-1 Virtus.pro. They have a really good lead on in this game. They have an opportunity to make it 5-1 on the turn of the half. If ITB can get another round back into their favor, then maybe there'll be a little bit more of a slog and a battle back and forth as there was the last time these two teams met. But one of the things that we need to start seeing is Kendrew and potentially Kanto, or Kanto and potentially Kendrew even, wrong way around, of who I think we need to get into the game, getting into the game. As I said at the start of this, Kanto has been huge, and he was almost removed, as I was saying this, early on from a peak, whereas every single Virtus.pro player has been able to have some good performances. You've got Pasha 5-2, down 5-1, and then pretty much everyone else is still positive. It's just that split here of needing everybody to get into the mix, get into the model of things, regardless of the ops and the roles that they're playing.
As the Twitch drone is coming into play, it's going to be hunting some utility, surely. Think of the goo mines, think of the FNATs, not the Death Machinies. Those mostly. Maybe some magnets as well, just to make it a bit easy. What was he doing with the juggle there? I'm not quite sure. That's going to be information. Are you going to go for a swing? You're still a player out on the rafter, so I'm not sure if you want to truly commit yourself to the grenade. Oh, yes, that might hit. All in one.
Perfectly played. We heard a bit of the ADSs, or the Wamidifs even get caught and burned there, and you know, just that play across the top. It's sort of two birds and one stone. Now the Fenrir gadgets that were activated before their death will stay activated, but they cannot be moved around. And obviously you get rid of the player in what is a little bit of a crux and a swing position. It will free up underneath. With this wall open, they're now going to maybe look to isolating. Yep, the rafters player, joystick's taking a lot of damage, slips their way through there.
So stuck.
Yes, it's such a delicate route.
So stuck.
Again, the timing there. They know exactly where he is as well. Kanto just wants to drift into a position he can find the fight, but Azar actually takes the kill.
And that's the tricky part of CCTV. They're like, it is such a defined step-by-step plan on how to take control of it. ITB are executing that perfectly right now. 2 clean kills. Wall opened up, garage in their hands. All they need to do now is start pushing towards the side and see if they can get that diffuser down. Now, you saw Noah was getting shot at. Yonk, in the meantime, is getting that plant ready. I believe that might be on the breach as Kanto has gone down, and no one's there to reply to it. It's only up to Dan now in a 1v5 clutch situation. He will find it first. Still many more to find in 40 seconds and counting for him to try and go for a defuse, but by the way it's been planted, it's going to be very difficult for him to get it.
I mean, he expected the fight there and instead they had it underneath. That was a brilliant round from ITB. Really a bit of return to force and form there in the dying sort of throws. And, you know, from how that one round went away from them, you're suddenly thinking, well, it could have been a 3-3 split here. We could be looking at a much more balanced game. And how the game opened up, those first 3 rounds, never have really believed it. So they've been able to find a fire. Can they try and push it here on their defense? Virtus.pro,
Attackers need to locate
they're angling and hoping to try and get themselves that perfect record, that matched pace with Wolves in the opposite group, and leapfrog Wild into first place.
Now, Dan is bringing Ram here, and I already see one use of this. Kitchen hallway.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Done. Just send it down there, down the staircase. Easily open everything up.
Yeah, it's genius because you think of, I mean, we've been on this map before and seen 2 C4 kills happen on that exact stretch of land. Where if you have a ram, you can't do that anymore. You can also lob a couple in from kitchen door as well. You cut across. It's a little bit more awkward because of the shape of things, but hey, you can maybe turn it. You've got the mute jammer to take care of the window. I didn't mean turn the camera.
Oh, Yonka has been locked into the kitchen with a soft hatch. They've barricaded the door from outside, so it looks like no one's inside. And he's hit himself into a corner. Surely a drone comes through, sees it's soft, and they're just going to use the butt from the window.
Jammer. So this is it. There's the mute jammer, but this mute jammer can be got from the window, so I'm like that.
Okay, yeah. Go on, Shepard.
So now you go, well, why is that mute jammer there? What's going on? Nothing on the roof.
Oh, it's soft.
Look, there's a player in the corner of the room. The
Pretend you didn't see him now.
The plan is... I'm going to describe this as the plan has failed. Unless they get a kill out of this. And they still might. Because we know what happens in Siege, where sometimes even if you're holding all the cards...
And this is literally pretend you didn't see him and go for a kill.
I think they're going to go above and shoot down. Look at the position of always. There it is. Yeah. The buck has gone fishing. They have someone watching on the window as well. They're shooting through. Yonka is breakdancing for their life. The hatch gets open and they're out of there. They survived, sure, and they wasted a lot of time. But I'm still a little confused.
There you go. There goes the boogie. Oh, it's not properly placed. It's got a crash.
Beep, beep. Oh no! Oh, pass it through the soft and Dan gets the pickup. Joystick takes a lot of damage. They've been able to get some kills on the back of it. There's the continued grinding up of the floor itself. As we said, the corridor is great, and the kitchen floor is also pretty good. There's not really anywhere else you could use it if you're attacking directly onto the site, apart from other of the top floors were clear, but they've already done that. Got a couple of kills out of it. Now, this is when we saw ITV slow down a bit and have to force the pressure of time. So with this two-body advantage, Virtus.pro, how quick can you start trying to get the pressure onto the site and the plant?
And the amount that has been opened up, if you need to do that with a sledge or a buck, you're just working for basically the entire round to get that to the level that's currently opened up. There's so many vertical angles now to play with, but they still need to find themselves into the side. And Dan, he's going to be leading the charge. As we can see all the way through Dirt Tunnel, and see there's going to be a barricade on the other end. And, well, they have to take care of that first. Shepard on overside on the actual kitchen hatch needs to be careful because there might be players in there. Feet get spotted, but the kill doesn't quite get connected.
Yonka, I mean, they've escaped a difficult situation before, but that one was a little bit too difficult. 18 seconds at 4 versus 2, and they get caught out on the final swing. Noah, with a double, is able to suddenly bring this into maybe possibility. Always takes a bit of damage. Dan's trying to find a place to plant, but they're inside the Fenris. They've got to wait for that to clear. Shepard's holding a dance in the angle. Always is on the other one. Kendra above! Kendra above! Gets the double, gets the pick, gets the round!
That came out of nowhere. Where did he rotate up? Or was he still out there this entire time?
I'm trying to think back. I don't remember the last time I saw him this round.
Because there was a player in blue. What's that? No, that was Noah. So, again, I don't know when I saw him last as well. It must have been blue stairs or he was upstairs the entire time. That's the only two options we have.
It must have been upstairs the entire time. I mean, because we saw the buck in logistics. Because I guess we don't know the clear that they did on the red side of the map and the garage side of the map. Maybe it's just... Medics just asked if he was maybe sleeping. And then woke up. I mean, there is a bed. Oh, okay. No, they didn't say maybe slip, and it's not Medics' red light, who then clarified, laughing, no, I meant strip.
So it might have been chilling and strip, and then...
Might have been chilling and strip.
Just came out.
Yeah, I guess that's the possibility, because you have to look at the furthest wings in that. I guess that's the Yonka maneuver. There was so much focus directly in on that position. As I said, the buck got above. We had a player inside gym as well. There was a kill that happened across the front of bar that was being shot at from the windows. They had some bar presence as well, because I think that was around main entrance.
But I'm glad that also Red Light didn't see, because that means that went under everybody's radar, not just ours.
Not just ours. I'm sorry I confused you for Medics, Red Light.
Twitch drone on its way to hunt some utility. First breaches are happening as well to the CC wall. It's going to be putting down some pressure, make sure that you know, players out there are not going to be feeling as inclined to go and rotate through that window, especially if you're sending a bit of an attack through highway. Oh, joystick just went off at the worst timing ever there. 2 people rotating back out as he steps back from the motorcycle. But they know they're downstairs now, so there's only one other way up.
2 minutes still left, and they've been able to get this quick pressure onto CC. It's been removed, as he said. Although they didn't get the kill onto the rotate, it's still a good bit of pace. Getting that final foot over the line. It's almost the biggest cost that we've seen across multiple games today, is that final 20 seconds, that final 30 seconds of a round. So maybe it's not down to how quick you get on the start. Azir is prepped and ready to play a game against this wall. Might maybe get a roll through. Obviously, no mute jammers would be able to get that Flores. There is players that are watching and keeping a bit of an eye, but always is the read through. There's not an active bandit zip he can go through here, but he can get the Fenrir mines.
It's going to be big, though, because those Fenrir FNATs, they have been proven troublesome for attackers, especially in like the last 10-20 seconds of an execute to come through. So taking that one down at least is opening up an extra opportunity as Junker is looking to go aggressive. Finds himself back into the bathroom now after dealing a little bit of damage towards Dan. More drones are coming out. It's not quite the Twitch drone to take care of a mirror window, as they're aware that the desk is going to be free. Grenades are being bounced around. They need to find a kill, and then does so into Kandrew.
First falls into VP's favor, but it's only falls with 30 seconds left. They've got to try and get the last swing round. A big explosion doesn't net the kill, but Noah swings in, and Pasha just swings right back. Joystick on the door. Dan ready to go for the hop on the window, potentially. Another C4 pops, but a little bit too early. The second VP player that enters entirely blinded out. The grenade was to force the motion. The player rotates round. That one does down Shepard, and he was the man with the kit. So suddenly, 10 seconds, 2 versus 1. They got to see if they can either find the kit, get it planted, or get the player itself. It is just the watch here, the cover, the swing round. He's able to win out the first. He goes for the second. It's a post-plant round, and Azir gets the clutch on a quad kill.
ITB again managed to get away with a round that seemingly should have been Virtus.pro's. 4-4. Equalize the scoreline here, and where it seemed like in the very first few rounds VP was running away with the game, we're finding ourselves at even numbers now. A tactical timeout will be called from VP. They need some time to talk because the initial round phase goes great. The startup, the preparation work, then it's time for execute, and it just goes wrong. It falls apart. It just doesn't work as it's supposed to anymore.
So there was a point in this game, right? There was a point a while ago where I, to be honest, felt a little bit bad for ITB that one attack didn't quite work. I no longer feel bad for them based on how they've taken a couple of these end rounds. It's huge plays. Do not get me wrong. When I'm talking about these rounds and it being like big, you can only have that feeling when a player on one side pulls off something outstanding. And the 4K clutch there in that situation, outstanding. The motions to avoid detection and pull the diffuse killer, outstanding. But also
Being defused by attackers.
the amount of end rounds in this game that have been pure insanity.
It's like half of it.
It's like
It's like 4 rounds so far.
From what has been, I'm not going to say an entirely tame day of Siege, but there's been some long games, some slightly shorter games. A lot of them have been quite standards of the pace. And this has just been, hey, you want to see me do a crazy round? You want to see,
Hey, you want to see me do it again?
see me do it again?
Again?
4 apiece, and you really wouldn't have thought it's been
Attackers have discovered the location of a
4 rounds since we've seen Virtus.pro take a round at this point. Will they have some success after the timeout?
Attackers are heading out to defuse a
We're going to see Burning Bees, followed up by a Monty.
Burning bees.
Onto the mezzanines, for if you're wondering. Player out there, of course, they need to get rid of him. So what better way than bees and fire? And a Monty shield. Might be asking for a lot here, but I definitely feel like that might be the angle they're going for. So setting up the drones, trying to get the information. That's one. That's two on the mezzanines. Heart breach gadget is going to be used on one of the garage walls as well by Pasha, I believe. At least he's thinking about it. Hasn't quite stuck with it yet. It's free for a run out, it seems. There it goes. Heart breach gadget on. Next up is going to be the fire arrows, but look at that. There's a player inside strip who might be going for a bit of a rotate here. Kanto checking if he's droned. It's going to go for a run out. It's going to check. Sees nobody, but if they rappel up a little bit higher, that's ahead.
They're on the drone. They're making some work.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
They're hoping. There it is.
There he is.
Always shot down, clay pigeon shot, and another round. Unfortunately, where I think it's been the opening death a couple of times here. You lose that twitch, and that's your reliance on some gadgetry. It's not going to stop them getting through the wall because it's nothing that is directly stopping the wall. There's always a purpose behind it.
There goes the bees. It's gone 6. Will there be any fire? Pasha's taking some damage, so might not be able to put that. There you go, fire bees. Zezzer is going to be trying to rotate out just a little bit right behind the shield. There's going to be a frost mat right on the top of the staircase. Joystick. You better see that one. A lot of impact coming his way. Takes a little bit of damage, but nothing too much to worry about.
More bees, more reveal on Azza's position, but when you have joysticks pinging it, it doesn't really change much. They've also got Kendra, who's hot and spicy and tucked in a corner right now, and gets caught out by Pasha getting the swing around. What an angle.
Help the frost mat, please.
This is to watch it all. And there's always the fear of the frost mat. He's creeping his way closer and closer. I mean, he has to keep this angle on the fight. Ash is able to get Pasha, which isolates them a bit. Dan finally pops up on the back end. Gets the kill. The smoke is going to force some motion, and he swings into it, but can't get the connection here. All three ITB players pretty much in a little clump on that back line, but getting that kill means Shepard is going to have to get off that rappel soon, because with 20 seconds, they've got to see if they can get the cover for this plant.
Well, how many smokes are left is going to be that big question at this point. As Joystick is just going to be walking in right behind him. He doesn't know the diffuser gets dropped. The shield is out of play as well. It's only up to Shepard, who gets shut down by Kento. And ITB, they take another round. And it really turned upside down after the clutch that was made by Virtus.pro, by Dan. Ever since ITB, they've just been on it.
5 rounds in a row. I mean, you wouldn't have predicted it. I know you wouldn't have predicted it. People watching, I saw your predictions at the start of this game. You didn't predict it. Stop lying.
There's no changing it back now.
Like 5 of you predicted it. I mean, it's just been such a tour de force here from these past rounds. ITB have had great reactions. The positioning of Yonka has been, at times, a little bit kooky, a little bit curious. It's drawn focus here, and if anything, it's sort of pushed Virtus.pro into the era where, you know, about a year ago, a year and a half maybe, Virtus.pro are really struggling on their attacks. In their own words, they said they were second-guessing themselves a lot. It feels like they're getting a bit of struggle here. They're not quite entirely sure on what ITB are doing. There's a couple of sort of shaky motions and movements. And yeah, let's be real. There's been rounds that have chopped and changed hands back and forth across this game. They could have had an attack at this point, and probably should have. But that little bit of hesitation seems to be costing them when ITB are just throwing themselves into the mix and getting some results out the back of it.
Players spotted up on the top floor. It's Azzer. Going to be opening up a bunch of floors, some hatches, maybe some walls as well. Just create all these angles. And as these openings are being made, VP, they might be going on an accelerated hunt for that top floor player. I believe there is also some lines or ways back to the side that are currently being watched by VP players. Kendra is still preparing with the Super Shorty as well. This is a perfect moment to actually try and strike, to put up some damage, because, you know, a lot of people are working on setup. That opportunity has stricken. And as Azzer is still up on the top, just rotating back and forth, he's going to get himself a way out, considering he knows that probably that wall has been opened up. He's definitely been droned out now, so he needs to find himself a safe way out, or just lean into the fight like he just tried to do.
Joystick going for this face clear round. There was some drones rolling not too far ahead of him, and, well, there's a confrontation close as well. There's the ping. Do they know of that player? Were they droned? I don't know if they were, but it doesn't matter. There was a ping round onto the back, but they did get the catch, and that's the important part. Elders ADS.
I don't think they have actually thrown him out. The drone kept rolling, and it's lucky that they were so quick on the response out there for VP, picking up Azure. There's only 1 minute and 10 left on the clock. There's still an Electro Claw on the hatch, which is going to make it very difficult for them to open it up, and Shepard is doing his best. Get 2 more pellets on it, or actually to the side of it. It's not going to be... Is he hunting the claw like this, hoping to get it with some explosive damage? I believe that's what he's doing. Not been successful. Let's see where it is. Oh, right there. It's underneath the cart. It's going to be very difficult for them to get with the explosions that they're trying it with right now.
Quick breakthrough. They're going for the pop. X-Kairos take a bit of time. So we roll out the second EMP, as we heard over our shoulder, as we make a quick execute. 30 seconds, though, and quick has to become even quicker at this point. The attention paid for the rest of the map. Late executes have turned into a little bit of a worry, as we can see, and they'll find out now. This is softed up. There's a player on the left. Kanto might try and swing into a power position here with the hatch still locked. Joystick gets his second. Noah's gone. There's another one. VP starting to close down quite epically onto the site itself. Shepard's going for the plant. Kendry's round on the back. IUI has disappeared, but we know what the fight is. It's a flawless.
Just like the first round, VP able to put a flawless on the board. Now they do so again, realizing that score towards 5-5. Find an attack round. They need to find one more to pick up a point here. Of course, they don't need... They prefer to get a full 3. Let's put it like that. But they don't need to get a full 3. If they get a overtime victory here, they're going to be tied up with points to Team Secret. Just 1 point ahead of Wild. I mean, this group has already been very close in terms of points. Into the Breach getting their win as well is meaning that they are in contention of making it to playoffs here. And currently the group stands Secret 5, Wild 4, VP 3, and Into the Breach on 2 points. So going to be really looking to get anything out of this game.
10 seconds left.
5 apiece, Virtus.pro. They finally pushed themselves over the edge of not being able to push themselves over the edge of a round.
Attackers are moving.
It felt like a million years ago we sort of called for a more even-handed game, and you look across the board and we have it. Obviously, there's been big rounds of players. Noah and Azza both putting up big numbers. Kanto and Kendry, the 2 players I sort of said I'd love to see a bit more of them. We have done. At the same time, Dan, keeping the pressure on. It's that response from Virtus.pro now. Who is going to be the first team to break this deadlock? You could have called either name at various different points. Dan sprays over the top here, offers some protection. The quick break. Noah wants the fight. It's not quite coming into his favor.
That's a lot of damage done by one of those bugies out there. Just toss it right through the door. Impact Trick's coming through. It's going to take the first set of X-Kairos out. Be plenty more where that came from. Shepard putting up the next 4. So a quick check there if there was like anything up above. Now Valkyrie's banned, so they weren't checking for cameras. Kenzo's looking to go quite aggressive here. Into the storage room, lets them know about his presence as he fires a single shot. He's still going around the corner, still cutting the pie. Joystick's long gone, and he rotated around. Now has the opportunity to go directly towards the side, and that's exactly what he's doing.
I mean, he has eyes on. He's picked up a couple of cheeky kills in this manner before. He doesn't know where he's being shot from. Swung the wrong way, but at least there's other VP players acting on the back of it. However, there's not many VP players left always. He's in a danger position. If he goes unchecked, he might be able to steal a sneaky kill on the back of it, but look who's above him. Hey, remember that round a couple of rounds ago when they got a couple of kills from this exact position? Well, they're looking to retake it. Nurik, Andrew, both there. Shepard does have the kit, but he needs a route through, and he is the one held off here. He's hoping to sneak in the hatch. Might not know that there's two players only about 10 feet away.
They should always, so they definitely know someone's upstairs, but he's afraid that they're in the kitchen right now. So, like, he flashes it, which gives away his position as well. And now he knows, oh, there's actually nobody in here. What do you do now? If you drop the hatch, you'll be shot from above. If you take the fight up top, well, you might lose the kit, and with that, the round and the opportunity for a full three-pointer.
Andrew's still holding on to the angle. They know exactly where they are. Looks the wrong way. It was a 50-50. Coin isn't in their favor. ITB, they get themselves on to map point.
And I said it, last time these two teams played, it went to 8-7. In that moment for Virtus.pro, it came on the back of 3-3 halves and 3 defensive overtime wins. So it was defense favored, and it's definitely defense favored right now. But VP, they have one more attacking round. They need to win this one if they want to be pushing this to overtime, because otherwise ITB, well, they could be taking a full 3 points here and finding themselves with a second victory on the board for this year. Exciting times ahead for them.
For this to be the last game of the evening, for it to be as intense as it is, Bug rehost has been called. See if that gets confirmed.
It's always there.
There it is. Rehost.
There it is confirmed.
So here we are, sitting on the precipice of maybe into the breach. Doubling down on their success in the previous playday, catapulting themselves up. And if they get 3 points from this game above Wild, who they beat in the previous playday in OT, jumping over Virtus.pro as well, that would, suddenly shake up the whole group. It also puts Koi on a little bit of an island down at the bottom. There's already now a minimum of 3 points between Koi and anyone else, I believe. No, they got OT, so they have at least one. So it's still 2 points, technically,
it's
at
2
this
points.
moment. If ITB win in OT, there'll be a bit of a stretch.
Then there will be 3. But if they... It's always going to be... Yeah, then it's going to be 3. I see what you mean now.
Yeah, if Virtus.pro get into OT and then ITB win the OT, then there is, 3 teams on 4. And it's
Koi versus ITB.
And then
tomorrow.
Secret above them.
Like, Koi ITB is the first game tomorrow.
Yeah, and that still separates Koi with a clean win from anyone else. If we get that one specific result.
Yeah, but it also means that if ITB defeat Koi tomorrow, it's most likely over for them. For Koi. That is given ITB wins this game. All right. We are in the middle of a rehost, for those of you wondering. Get a look into the lives of all these players. Yonka just left. Kanto's stroking his beard, as one does. All just waiting patiently, because during technical rehosts, these players are not allowed to talk to one another. That way, they cannot be used, for example, to gain an advantage after things start to go wrong. There's no discussing strategy. It's just waiting patiently in silence until everybody's ready. But you do not have to wait in silence, because we're here to talk to you all. You get the far more packs. Yeah, maybe we are here in silence. Are you joining the players in solidarity?
I was just letting you have your moment, I suppose.
No, good.
Enjoying the tension, the build-up.
8-7 last time these two met. Clubhouse.
I love the fact that we were like, oh, it probably won't be the same, but it's like an eternal thing, I guess, between these two teams. is if it goes to Clubhouse, it's going the distance. Because even if it ends at the next round, it's still been a brawl between these two teams.
It has been, yes. It's been the full 12 rounds, that's for sure. We might get 14, we might get 15. We don't know yet. It's the big wait, the big ask. All right, well, ITB, they've had some changes over the stage. Everybody kind of ridiculed them after stage one, being like, how do you not manage to get an overtime win or more than 8 rounds, right? It was a horrific stage from them. 7 rounds they managed to get against Virtus.pro, 1 round in the remaining 3 games, which you don't have to be an expert, but that's not great. They've made some changes. They've had the entire offseason to practice. They find themselves with a loss, but also an overtime win against Wild, a team that had gone unbeaten in the regular stages at that point. And now as they return to Clubhouse against Virtus.pro, a team that they managed to get 7 rounds again before, the fist bumps are going out for what could be the last round. ITB could be taking full 3-pointer here. And that would definitely be showing of their improvement compared to the last stage. Because suddenly they're playing for playoffs at that moment in time, not just for a win.
We're back in. Bedroom Gym, 6-5. And you just kind of want to see this go all the way. I'm sorry, ITB fans. I'm so sorry. But I want this to be a max OT. I want to end the game with more insane clutches and pulls and rounds. I'll hopefully have audio in a second.
We're overhead. We're not getting audio.
Oh, yeah. I forget.
It's like we're too far away removed for anything to be heard. Looking at the setup that VP is looking to bring, we see 3 Heart Breachers, we see a Thatcher, and we see a Yana. Will walls be opened up? I can tell you probably yes. Still not going to be helping them on the construction wall, though, as that's just a single one and could be easily bended, tricked if there's nobody on the window watching it on the highway. Currently, there is going to be a single charge on it. Of course, the main priority will be towards the bathroom and towards the jacuzzi wall. Now, all 4 bended batteries have been pre-placed. Azar is finding himself inside of mezzanines, just hiding. In the rafters, just hiding. He doesn't want to try and trick. He just wants to be there to take a fight, and probably also realizing that, well, if there is a Thatcher, there is 2 breachers, there's nothing I can do about it anyway. There it is. Wall has been opened up. And that's step 1. The next one will be to try and take the control of bathroom.
And step 2 is to see if they can maybe force out Kendrew and loop potentially round into the back end. The opposite side. I am still without audio.
Yeah, I'm as well. I just pinged them.
Getting the drones rolled across there. Looking to see if they can get control of CC. Push out the player onto red. See the Iana's getting the full read as well. The FT Shield is there on the swing round onto the top of red itself. They have the ADS. They've got the drone just tucked close on the corner. Azar is tucked underneath by the box as well. And Noah slips out. Kanto just shoot Noah.
To himself, yeah.
We get sound back for that.
Just in time. I was about to ask you to work on your voice actress skills. Make the sounds for us. But ITB, they're still all alive on their defense. A VP, they've managed to gain some ground, but nothing too major yet. Azar is playing below, has a C4 in pocket, which could be absolutely huge if a push does come through from the logistics side of things. Now, a minute is left on the clock. It's not a lot of time. They still need to find themselves a way into the site, and it's a 5-on-5 execute, really, with almost little to no damage done. C4s are being pinged out, so they're aware that some of it has been pre-placed. But what are they going to do about it? They're going to have to shoot it out or just try and avoid the area? I'm trying to get it with the next Kairos.
There's a couple of different routes to get the solve on that. There is that one is the most direct, but as Shepard goes down, you talk about direct. They don't want to go for the full confidence swing somehow. Neo dodge the bullets as they push across. Can't dodge that though. Always in Dan. Get kills across the back, and I'm not going to say it was punishing the overconfidence, but we are screaming towards this. An overtime is occurring. Virtus.pro, they get that round, and they get it with the confidence of how they opened this game. 6 apiece. OT, once again.
History does have a way of repeating itself. Now a timeout to be called by ITB.
What tension?
Just taking it slow. With building up the tension here. This is not for tactical reasons, of course. This is just ITB wanting to make their fans bite off a couple more nails.
You need like tension music.
Yeah, can we get some like epic background music? Copyright free.
It's really funny having this scoreboard and it's like, wait, what do you got? 6 kills?
But it was 6 kills and a 6-6. Wow, that's an objective heavy game.
It's really been peaceful. Yeah, it's been the opposite of peaceful. I don't know if it's just the chaos of late night heatwave room with the windows closed.
So happy tomorrow is going to be a lot less warm. Apparently tomorrow is going back to normal temperatures in the Netherlands.
All right. Church Arsenal. Go back round here. Virtus.pro, they had 2 successes here. It's the only site that they were able to double down on their defenses. Took it quite well both times. Hahaha, I'm joking. You all remember the round I'm talking about. One of them was a 3 versus 1, and the one just happened to get the kill onto the diffuser planter. Virtus.pro have almost lost this site. ITB have almost taken it and should have. Really. So.
They should have, yeah. Slight mistake on the planting spot, maybe due to lack of time. Not quite sure. I mean, there was still time, you know, because it wasn't like he started planting on 0 seconds. Started planting on like just a little bit over 7. So it could have been in a better position either way. It happened, and managed to get the round of it. VP. We're now on the defense, which has been favored. 8 rounds so far this game have gone towards the defense. Which means that VP, statistically speaking, is in the driver's seat to take this in an 8-7 again.
Theosa, the first time, I think we've seen her all day, actually. She hasn't really been played in any other games. Has the deployable Talon shields. If you're unaware, you can sort of make step-by-step forts, but Impact will quickly remove them. So with the 4 that's in pocket, it might stop them trying to trick against the removal of hatches, but otherwise there's still going to be some focus and attention paid there. Kanto is looking for a pace here onto blue. The very first time they attacked this site, they were quite slow in getting the rest of the clear, regardless of all the players being down underneath. It definitely seems like they've learnt from that lesson. They're putting the pressure on early. They have the drone to watch to see if there's a rotate. They're getting their routes opened around the top as well. They don't have the ram. In fact, they don't really have any direct self-destruction here. No sledge, no buck, nothing to tear up all of that floor apart from just shooting through it and breaching charges.
Quickly, breaching charges are made for this, so they often do quite a little bit of damage. Opening is going to be made. Single Thatcher EMP is going to be tossed in, so if there was going to be an Cade, would have been able to actually trick it, but of course there was nothing on there to begin with. Now, as they look through the verticals they have just made, ITB, they need to find themselves a way in. Kitchen hatch being opened up as well. Second set of Excars is coming. Wanting to try and trick that Pasha. Your feet are showing. Has to rotate out. Didn't deal any damage. Noah should put some damage down onto Pasha now. As the hatch is opened up, I believe after 6 or 8 Excars being set up on it. ITB, on to the next step. Open up the triple wall, maybe?
Well, that's where I think Pasha might try and loose their impact. They're not too far away. They could make a bit of a rotate before. They're hoping the pressure comes. But look how many of the ITB players are circling around the top. There it is. It's always actually, in fact, it's the one that has the impact, gets some of the damage done, but the whole wall is going to get cracked open partially. Kendry's going for the plant on the back end. Dan doesn't know. They've got to swing the corner and react. The cover's coming through, and it's a post plant. Sort of stolen right under the nose. Kendry pops up and gets a kill. Kanto from the long range, and that was a brilliant play in plant and ploy. Done by ITB, a flawless at this moment in time, this late in the day.
That must have been like one of the biggest bamboozles of the day, because like the triple wall opens up, you see pressure coming down from blue. In the meantime, someone's planting. They had no clue because of all the other calls and sounds that were coming through. They really probably thought it was going to be a church plant or a church take that was coming through. Had no idea that he was already in sight. Of course, some players already started dropping as the pressure was coming through from all those angles. But as soon as the plant then goes down, there's a bit of panic. It's like, where? Right? It's like, how did they get in? They probably thought they had everything covered. Oh. And now they changed the sights. And ITB, they have the opportunity to lock it down this time around.
I mean, I guess that's the thing there is you have the curiosities of... We knew that they were impact tricking against Kitchen Hatch. We knew that Kitchen Hatch was a huge point of focus for those ex-Kairos. And then the drop happened and the plant started happening before anyone swung and went for the shots. So you're a little bit curious just how they, you know, over a 20-second period went from full focus, we're tricking this, to draw away, and what the idea was. It could have just been one missed call. It could have been one missed idea. It could have been, hey, they're Selmering open the whole of Church Wall. But to be honest, throwing 3 against the walls is more of a let's make it uncomfortable gambit rather than let's specifically get a portion open gambit.
It's definitely something to wonder here as quick pressure comes into the garage from the side of VP. So Kendry, you know, back then just walked in with a shield, always. Opening up the window on the side is going to be putting up some pressure from the highway side of things. Jonka taking small amounts of damage as well. Where's it? It says CC Fit. Who? Oh, the mirror window and an impact right after. I was wondering, he's like, what happened there? But the mirror window's out there, which makes it impact trickable. That's just going to happen again.
Oh, no.
So now they have a Selma left. But there's also 4 more impacts on the side of ITB. They don't know that, of course. We do. But this is probably going to mean that that wall will stay shut because of the mirror window and how it's placed. Unless they can keep Azar at bay and make sure he cannot stand up to impact trick this wall.
I mean, things are starting to fall apart a bit. They've got to dedicate it. They do get the wall open, but it's such a big cost of utility. And you're thinking of where we've seen the rest of the Selmas used. You assume construction wall is still locked. Anything on the back end is locked. Garage was the only other place. We had those Selmas down there, so their routes through are limited. Their angles are a bit shut down. They're going to have to go for a little bit of brawn here. Now the Bees start to push across. Kanto's stuck in their bottom corner, meaning that they can try and get a rotate round onto the other side of Oil and hope some focus is drawn attention. All of the players are still standing, and the longer this goes on, the more it kind of plays into Virtus.pro's favor. Azza popping up and trying to get some focus here and some attention drawn into the swing. Nothing is
just being harassed by the Bees right now.
Yeah, it's not gonna kill him though. There needs to be something behind it.
Needs to be something behind it, that's for sure. And as always, is now trying to push in. VP very heavy inside the garage, but none of them are giving anything. Unless Azar now just get taken down. It's an option for VP, but Kanto still being down in the oil pit has an opportunity to provide some support as Jonka finds joystick.
Kanto's still tucked underneath. He's waiting for the perfect moment. And to be honest, having a single player have a big impact will just be defining of this game. There's the 3 versus 4, 15 seconds. Shepard has to run the kit round, but they're paying too much attention always is all that's left. And we find ITB taking all of the points. It has been a long fight and a long game and a long road to revenge on Club. But it is theirs now.
In stage 1, they got most of the rounds against Virtus.pro, but were unable to transition it into a victory. This time around, they are 2 in a row, an 8-6 for 2 points. And see how much it means for them on their faces. They are now in full contention for a playoff spot where they couldn't dream of it during stage 1.
There are points in this game you could not have predicted how this game went, and there are points where you were sure which way it was going. All I can say is it's been a hell of a way to end our games today, but there's still obviously a desk and an interview after this, so please don't go anywhere. We will have a quick break before we are back.
Have you ever wondered how our professional players go pro? Or what happens between our regionals and majors? During the Tier 1 off-season, our Tier 2 scene kicks off with 5 separate regions hosting their own T2 competitions that have the opportunity for anyone and everyone to enter. Now let's get started and welcome you to the Tier 2 ecosystem of Rainbow Six Siege. There are several regional events around the world, which are the Japan Invitational, Liga Start for Latin America, the North Regional Rumble, and R6 Central Combine from Europe, and Element 1 for North America. Let's start with the Central Combine. 2 Tier 1 qualifying teams are sent straight to the playoffs, whilst there are 4 national spots composed of teams from the Legacy national competitions and 2 EU squads made from teams that are at least 3/5 from Central Europe. These 6 teams go straight to Phase 2. There are then 18 more spaces to be filled by open qualifiers, which means this is your chance to get involved. During Phase 2, our 4 national teams, 2 Central European teams, and 18 qualifying teams will be divided into divisions to play against each other based on a point system, with the lowest 2 teams of each division being eliminated. Our remaining 12 teams will be grouped into 3 conferences, competing for their spot in the playoffs. Each team will play every team in the other 2 conferences for points, with the highest scoring 6 teams moving forward to Phase 4. Phase 4 is our playoff bracket, where our top 6 teams from qualifiers and our 2 Tier 1 teams face off in a best-of-3 bracket. At this stage, everyone gets a share of the €40,000 prize pool, where the winning team will take home up to €15,000. These events aren't just about the money though. Our Tier 2 events give you the platform to showcase your talent to the world. The matches are live streamed on our official channels with the best upcoming analysts and casters that BR6 has to offer. Win here and your Rainbow Six life could change forever. Do you have what it takes to step up and be the next big name in Rainbow Six? Prove it.
Doki 4 kills. Give them the ball! That's going to be G2. Moving on.
Pretty sure that was pre-placed on the hatch as well. It's the second time they got away with this half as well. It's really good stuff coming out of Secret. Groovy's there.
Nella holds strong on top of that one. Drops into it. Stops the counter refuse to give the round over to Eminem.
The close game ended in quite handily a fashion for the Wolves.
Need to rotate. They took the stock hatch. They took the rotate round onto Banana, and they had the site control. Heroic!
Joystick denies the plant. Psycho needs to throw it down, but he won't be able to do so. VP, close it down.
He will not even make it back to his feet before Deepek cuts him down.
BDS lock down the series. They will qualify through.
Hungry, he's hopping. He's got to sprint round for the final player. Can he make it? Yes, he can!
Into the Breach take a back-to-back victory, and we have the winners on the line. Good evening, Yalski. Good to see you again. You must be feeling amazing after this victory.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Obviously happy with the results, but some improvement left to be made.
All right, improvement, but you're also shared second in your group. I mean, that puts a realistic chance of making it to the major, even.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, I wasn't quite aware. Yeah, tomorrow obviously got Koi coming up, and I guess we could do a lot better than we did last stage.
All right. On your social media, it seems that you're playing pretty much FBI today. Did you notice anything illegal in this game?
Not really. I think we played by the rules after last week. I think we don't want to play another round in 3 hours' time. So I think we followed the rules pretty well today.
All right, understandable. And now, during Benelux, I know that you pretty much like to do a bit of well-placed trash talking. You said Koi's up next. Anything you want to say to Koi?
No, I just nothing but love. I love my boy Deepak. You know, I seen him win a major, and that was a very special thing. So no, nothing but love to those guys. But yeah, Jigsaw might as well just go home to Australia again, because it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
I was going to say, this started really wholesome, and then there was a teeny tiny bit of trash talk at the end. Thank you for that. The desk was a bit unsure of where to put into the breach, realistically, expectations-wise. What are your own expectations now for the remainder of the stage, really?
I mean, starting out, we're just looking to build, really, right? It's like build up the experience. I think today, especially starting out, we like going 0-4 down, I believe. You just see a lot of like nerves early still some kinks to work out. But I think if we can nail that down, we could be a major contending team consistently. But probably looking to do that more so next stage and this stage. Anything we get this stage like is perfect. But yeah, next stage is really where we want to shine.
I'd say that sounds realistic but promising. Is there anything you want to say to the fans to close it off?
No, yeah, like after the last stage, I hope we're finally gaining some fans, because there was not much to cheer for last time. So hopefully, people like the show that we're putting on, like the people that we have in the team, the change that we've made. I know Kangaroo Kenny is a much beloved character, so no, I hope you guys enjoy it. That's the main thing.
All right, Lonsky, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your evening, and we hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you.
I love to hear a little bit of trash talk. It was always during the Benelux interviews. It was a little bit of like for those teams, and I thought this was going to be really wholesome. And then
we had a little internal bet that he wouldn't have the balls to do it at tier 1. So fair play for Leonski for coming out and actually, taking aim at Jigsaw, which will certainly be interesting if he drops 20 on them tomorrow.
I mean, they'll be happy if they just keep doing what they're doing, right? That's what you say. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope Koi does, because then they're going to be crushed.
But now for this game, right? It started out really dominant for Virtus.pro, and then eventually ended up really close. Was this a case of Virtus.pro, or what happened?
Oh, look, I think, ITB, I think, showed a lot of heart. I think it's worth saying. 0-4 down Virtus.pro. This would have been kind of prime ITB. I called it as a 7-0. 4-0, I was sat here on the desk and I said, this is a prime 7-0 for Virtus.pro. ITB have gone back to their old ways. Showed a lot of heart to get back into it. 2-4 split on the attack. Arguably should have been 3-3. They lost a 4 versus 1, 3 versus 1 on the church, attack. So they actually attacked it okay in the end over the half, and in their defense was when they really came alive. I thought they hit. We talked about Secret last week not hitting the right amount of passiveness to aggression against Virtus.pro. Into the Breach was doing it perfectly. They will delaying, layering, and then when it was absolutely necessary was they then getting aggressive in terms of, Azar had a big round with a big clutch, Kendra had a big flank, but it was only when it was necessary. You never saw them giving away unnecessary picks.
I mean, I need to just add on to, I was hating on Noers after the first play day? Yeah. Yep. Saying that he was playing for his career. And again, he pulls off a star performance for his team.
Yep.
It's not what we expected to see, maybe. I mean, when you're putting someone saying that your career's on the line and you start to having to perform, well, he's doing it again here. A 16-7 scoreline is such a step up, especially against a team that has all of that experience, that you come in as I would say rookie, because that's what he is. You come in against them and you just demolish them. These guys have been in SI finals. They've been in major wins. Like, they've done everything there is. And you step up against them as well. So they're starting to do something really good. And as a team, they're actually playing like a team. I said it doesn't matter how they lose, as long as they do it as a group. Now they win, and they win as a group. And mentally coming back when it was 0-4 with a 3-on-1 loss is massive.
They're actually showing substance this stage. And I think that's what, they will get fans for doing this. When it was stage 1, they didn't really show any substance. They didn't really show any fight. This stage, they're showing that. Last week, this week, it's a snowball. They're starting to snowball in